If you have $10,000 that you can invest today, I have a wheel strategy designed for smaller portfolios, $10,000 and under, on how I am doing weekly strategies to create as much income as I can. I'm Nick, and at the age of 42, I retired early. I'm living off of a small dividend portfolio that provides about $2,000 a month. But I've got 2 kids and a wife, and we try to have a pretty good life. So that's where I turn to options, and that's specifically where I turn to the wheel strategy. A few weeks ago, I posted a video on cash secure puts. You should give that a look if you're interested, because that's the first part of the wheel. And today we complete the wheel. We talk about covered calls. Welcome to 15 Minute Money, the show where I search the financial world for the most up-to-date investment ideas, market trends, and income streams so you don't have to. I'm your host, Nick Bradley. Let's get into it. So running the wheel strategy. Obviously, part one is to get into a cash secured put, but let's slow down. Maybe you don't even know what an option is. Let's do a quick recap and then we'll get into the full wheel. So again, this isn't financial advice. I'm just telling you how I'm doing my strategies for a weekly success, and hopefully you can replicate something like it. So what is an option? Let's start there. An option is another way of controlling 100 shares of a stock. There are call options and there are put options. A call option, you want to buy a call option if you anticipate the stock of the price is going to go up. Conversely, you want to buy a put option if you think the price of the stock is going to go down. You want to sell a call option, that's the covered call we'll talk about here in a second, if you anticipate the price going down or if you just want to generate weekly or monthly income. And then you want to sell a put option if you want to do a cash secure put or you want to buy a stock on a discount. So what is the wheel? Well, a few weeks ago we talked about cash secure puts and selling puts for premium. And if you get assigned, which means you have to buy 100 shares of a stock, and many people decided they would point out that my cash secured puts video was stupid and that I was taking way too much risk to only make 50 bucks a week. And anyway, you can see the naysayers. However, this is how I am providing for my family. Again, this isn't financial advice. I'm just telling you what I am doing on a weekly and monthly basis to provide for my family. So you can think it's stupid if you want, but many people out there make the wheel their whole livelihood. It's not my whole livelihood, but it's a good little piece right now. So you sell the cash secure put. If you get assigned and you buy 100 shares, you then sell covered calls. If you get assigned, you sell your stock away and you restart the wheel by selling cash secured puts. That's the whole strategy. Now let's break it down. So the number one rule for myself, and I tweaked this a little bit from my cash secured puts video, when I'm selling the wheel, I only run the wheel on stocks I am okay owning long term. Now in the cash secure puts video, I said stocks that I want to own, because sometimes you really do want to own a stock long term. But if you're planning on running the wheel, you at least, at the bare minimum, you need to only run the wheel on stocks that you are okay with owning for a long time. Because, as people pointed out, you can get assigned at a lower cost basis than you wanted to, and you might end up owning that stock for a while. Let's do an example. So part one of the wheel is the cash secure put. Let's say you have $10,000 to invest and you choose SoFi. The current price of SoFi is $25.50. You want to buy SoFi at $23.50, $2 cheaper. So you can sell the $23.50 strike on SoFi and you'll get paid $11 contract premium when you do that. If SoFi is above $23.50, you keep the 11 bucks. I typically do 1 week out. So today it's Friday. I sold some cash secure puts today. I closed out some other cash secure puts and I've got some covered calls that I'm actually going to be assigned on today. So on a weekly basis, I say, hey, next Friday, I'm willing to buy SoFi for $23.50. Somebody on the other end of that contract is going to pay me $11. And if at next Friday, SoFi is above $23.50, I keep $11 per contract. However, if SoFi is below $23.50 by next Friday or whatever date you choose, I would buy 100 shares of SoFi at $23.50. I still keep the 11 bucks. But if SoFi is worth $2 by next Friday, highly unlikely. But if SoFi is worth $20, well, I bought it at $23.50 and I'm currently down 350 bucks. Let's say I did get assigned and I own SoFi at $23.50. And next Monday comes around, I got assigned on the weekend. Monday morning rolls around and I now have 100 shares of SoFi, or at least 100 per contract, depending on how many contracts I sold. The current price of SoFi Monday morning, let's say, is 23 bucks. Well, I bought SoFi at 23.50, so I could sell the 25 strike, and right now that's paying about 30 bucks. So if by next Friday in this covered call scenario, SoFi is below $25, I keep the 30 bucks and I keep my 100 shares of SoFi. If by next Friday, which is probably when I would sell the covered call, if SoFi is above $25, I would sell my 100 shares at 25. So if SoFi goes on a huge run and it goes from 23 bucks Monday up to $30 by Friday, $7 per share in 1 week. Well, I said I'd sell it at 25. So guess what? I sold it at 25 and somebody else made money. That's why the other side of the option contract exists, because somebody thinks that they're going to be able to buy SoFi at a cheaper price than what I could sell it at. So if I said I will sell it to you for 25 bucks and it goes to 30, well, I kind of screwed myself up, right? However, I would sell my 100 shares, I would keep the 30 bucks, and I owned SoFi at 23.50. We had $10,000 to invest. So we did cash secure puts, and we could sell 4 contracts at the 23.50 strike. So our 10,000 bucks divided by 23.50 gives us 4 contracts. We sold 4 contracts for $11. Doesn't seem like a lot. We'll get into math here in a second. That totaled $44. We then had to buy 400 shares of SoFi at 23.50 because we got assigned. So now we paid $9,400 to be an owner of SoFi. Now we are going to sell covered calls against SoFi. We had 400 shares of SoFi at $23.50 total each lot, totaling $9,400. We then sold 4 contracts of SoFi at the $30 price, and that gave us 120 bucks because we had 4 contracts times 30. You can do that kind of math. But then we got assigned and we sold our 400 shares of SoFi at $25. Now, whether SoFi went up to 30, that's not our problem. We sold and we received $10,000. So we made $44 selling cash secure puts. We made $120 in premium selling the covered call. And then we made $600 from the price of appreciation of our shares. So if this was a 2-week scenario, we possibly made $764 in those 2 weeks. Let's pull out the old trusty calculator and see what we made 26 times, because it took us 2 weeks to run this wheel strategy, making $764 every 2 weeks. You could do that 26 times in a year. That's going to pay you $19,864 in the year. Now, we were only working with a $10,000 investment. So on $10,000 investment, that's a 198% return annualized in the year. Options give you that because you're using leverage. Now, stuff's going to go up, stocks are going to go down. You may not be able to run the wheel 26 times in a year. Currently, I'm in a position with MicroStrategies where I haven't sold a covered call against it because I'm waiting for it to get closer to my strike price. Bitcoin's down, so MicroStrategy is down, so I'm just waiting for the price to get back up, and then I'll start doing the wheel again. But it's been 2 weeks and I haven't had any covered call income, so not everything is perfect. That's why you got to look at stocks and decide if you really like it. So let's go to the charts and look at SoFi. So here we are, SoFi. We have our trusty Bollinger Bands pulled up. Right now, SoFi is near the top of the Bollinger Band, which, if you watched last video, I don't love when it's towards the top of the Bollinger Band. That's good for the covered call side. It's not necessarily great for the cash secure put side. However, we do see a good appreciation. Like SoFi is going up. I mean, in April when Trump had his little hissy fit with the tariffs, SoFi was down to under 10 bucks. Now trading at 25.47. So SoFi is uptrending. I think the company has good fundamentals. I like what they're doing with student loan refinancing. So I think SoFi could be a good play. So therefore, running the wheel and looking at SoFi for the longer term could really work out. Let's look at example number 2, RGTI. If you do not know, Rigetti Computing is a quantum computing stock. They had a huge push at the end of last year. Things were going haywire and they kind of came back down to earth. And now we're trying to see if quantum computing is everything it is cracked up to be. If you talk to NVIDIA and Jensen, he's saying, well, quantum computing is a little further off. But if you talk to the CEOs of the companies, they're saying quantum computing is here and it's making a difference now. And in fact, if people started using quantum computing to run things like AI and to run things like Bitcoin miners, it would reduce electricity like crazy. I think when the price of consumer electricity is going crazy, governments are going to start forcing it. And if a technology like Rigetti Computing is there to help lower that cost, I think we're going to see it explode in the stock price. Looking at Rigetti, look at the Bollinger Bands. It's kind of flat right now, which I'm okay with flat. A lot of people only want to see an upward pattern, but flat at least gives you some sort of perspective. So we're talking a really bad scenario if you fall down to $7 here, but you're the top of the Bollinger Band in the recent future. You've seen step up from 15 and then you get up to 17, got up to $18 again, kind of came down to the lower Bollinger Band under 14, and now we're right in the middle. If you like Rigetti, if you like the thought of quantum computing taking off, then this could be a play for you if you have a $10,000 portfolio. Let's take a look. Rigetti, current price $16.30. You're willing to buy Rigetti at 15. So you sell the 15 strike and you'd get paid 19 bucks per contract in premium. If Rigetti is above $15 by next Friday, you keep the $19, no harm, no foul. If Rigetti is below $15, you buy 100 shares of Rigetti at 15, no matter how low it falls. If it falls back down to 7, guess what? You're buying it at 15. There is risks, but you do keep the 19 bucks. So what do you do if you get assigned? You sold the puts. Now you're going to sell the calls. Let's say this scenario. Rigetti opens up next Monday after you've bought the stock over the weekend. Don't worry if you've never done this before. The people will make you buy the stock. You don't have to actually do anything. Let's say Monday morning you wake up, Rigetti's trading at 14 bucks a share. You are willing to get rid of Rigetti at a certain price. You bought it at 15, so you're down $100 right now. You could sell the $16 strike for $15 in contract premium. If Rigetti is below the 16 bucks, you keep your $15 and your shares and you sell another cover call next week. However, if by the next Friday, Rigetti is above $16, you sell your 100 shares at 16 and you keep the 15 bucks. Let's do the wheel math. You had $10,000 to invest. You did cash secured puts. 10,000 bucks divided by 1,500. You could do 6 contracts on Rigetti. Those 6 contracts sold for $19 each, totaling 114 bucks. You then bought 600 shares of Rigetti at 1,500 each for $9,000. Don't worry, you're doing the wheel, so now you did some cover calls. $10,000 in cover calls. You had the 9,000 bucks, meaning 600 shares of Rigetti. You sold 6 contracts, 6 cover calls against those shares at 90 bucks total. You sold the 600 shares because it went up to 17 or 18 bucks. So your total sale was $9,600. So you made 114 on cash secured puts. You made $90 on covered calls. You made $600 in stock appreciation, totaling $804 in your pocket in 2 weeks. 804 bucks. If you did that perfectly and the world was wonderful, you did that 26 times, you're looking at $20,904 on a $10,000 account. That is a 209% annual increase. Pretty good. Does the world work perfectly? No, it doesn't. But if you follow the rules, I only run the wheel strategy on stocks that I am willing to own for the long term. If I do the Rigetti play and I get assigned Rigetti at $15 and it falls to 7, I'm going to have to wait. It's $10,000. It's not going to ruin my life. I'm willing to wait because I think Rigetti could be a huge player. It could be the next Palantir. You could be looking at Rigetti at $15 going, oh my God, what did I do? It's now only 7. Well, in a couple years, it could be over 100. Who knows? The stock market is a crazy place. What I'm showing you is how I make money on a weekly basis using the wheel. I sell a cash secure put. If I get assigned, I sell a cover call when it makes sense. If I get assigned, I sell those shares and then I start the cash secured put again. That is how you can make over 100, maybe even 200% a year selling the wheel on a small account under 10,000 bucks. My name is Nick. I am the co-author of The Quick Start Guide to Investing. It's a great book. My publisher just told me it's on sale this week. So if you're watching this video in September, it might still be on sale. Grab yourself a copy. And if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me today on 15 Minute Money, the show where I search the financial world for the most up-to-date investment ideas, market trends, and income streams so you don't have to. I'm your host, Nick Bradley. We'll see you next week.